Hello! That was great. That was great. Happy Hump Day, guys. From Tammy and Wanda.
We're going to be talking about some Hump Day weirdness today, so welcome to our special episode for our beautiful listeners.
Oh, yes.
And on this cold as shit Hump Day.
And of course, you know, we have a surprise. As we are working on our podcast, we are now working together.
Yes. Wanda is stuck with Tammy all day.
And you know, I colored my hair last night, and I'm kind of digging. Like, I look like I have Wanda hair.
You kind of do.
It's scary.
You kind of do.
In this light, it looks like Wanda hair.
Her name is Wanda. She was a show.
That, my friends, is a life update for all of our friends out there, friends and listeners. But yeah, we are getting into we're getting into Hump Day, and
we had a really weird conversation while we were working the other day, so that spawned the idea for the episode. So,
and of course, you know, with Hump Day, everybody thinks of
humping, horizontal mambo. I once had
or vertical, whichever way you dig it.
Vertical is much more difficult, but
it's difficult.
Do you? I remember, so this girlfriend I had in high school, when we went over to her house, her dad would always say, everybody needs to stay vertical in my house.
Ooh.
And I will never forget that because it
Challenge
was such a good line.
Accepted.
Yes. Who doesn't hear that and go, I could do that. All right,
I could
we
pull
could do
that
vertical.
Off. I could pull that off.
I don't know. I don't
hard.
think I could pull it off now. I think when I was like $120, that was probably a lot simpler to do.
When I was more flexible back in the day.
And then when you're old and tired, you're like, no, let's just get this over with.
Missionary is so much better at this point.
Well, we looked at some really weird things because
because of course, you know, our conversation turned into strange fetishes.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, we were talking about feet.
Because feet are gross, you guys.
And both of us, we hate feet. We hate feet. I hate feet. I hate my feet. But we won't get into it. But I love shoes.
Yes.
I hate feet.
I find that strange because most of us that hate feet are shoe people.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we're trying to hide the ugly toes.
I think that's because, because I actually do not look at sandals or anything because I know my toes are going to, like, peek out.
See, I love sandals, but I gotta tell you guys, my issue with feet is that I have to always have them painted. Because if I have to see bare toenail, it freaks me out. It makes them uglier, and I am immediately like, ew, I don't want to look at my own toes. Gross.
I mean, that, I can't. Like, I physically cannot, like, I clean my feet.
Well, everybody cleans them because,
let's throw that out there. But it's really hard for me to paint my toenails because I have such a problem. Like, my mom, like, she can't cut her own toenails, so my sister does it, but she's like, Courtney, can you do this? And she just brings up these talons, like, right in front of my face, and I'm like, oh, get it away from me!
You know, I used to, when I was married before, cut my ex-husband's toenails, and I often think about, I was like, as much as I hate feet, why was I doing that for him? Yeah. Was that because I don't think he ever really asked me to do that, and I think that, like, you know, when you're, like, young and dumb and you think you need to do everything for your spouse, it kind of happens like that.
It's that people-pleasing side of us.
Oh, God. And it left as soon as I gave birth to the kid, because he has the ugliest feet.
Oh.
Just like his mother. I mean, mine are uglier than his now, but, like, he grew into them.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I can handle, like, when I was a teacher, baby feet.
Well, those are cute.
Toddler feet.
Even if they're ugly, they're like little feet, you know?
It just, like, when they hit that school age stage where they're, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can touch those.
I also don't even mind, like, helping him with his, because I made him. I don't know if that's, like, a different thing, but.
It has to be. But, I mean, I don't like touching my own feet.
No.
I hate touching
my own feet. And because I'm a little fluffier than I used to be, like, it's hard to do your own toenails because it's like your belly gets in the way and then the boobs get in the way and you're like, how in the hell?
That's literally what happened to me the other day where I was like, I need to cut my toenails. So I had to like try to be like a contortionist, trying to like get in there. But of course, we all know that there are people out there who like feet.
And then you can't breathe when you're painting your toenails. Do you have that where you're mid paint, you're like
like you taking a deep breath and you're just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn it!
You put your knee down, you're like, oh, thank God, a breath.
I gotta come back up for air.
Breath.
Oh
Yes.
my God! But yeah, and of course there have been many a times where I've decided that I was going to make an OnlyFans. And
aren't you glad you didn't? Now that it's kind of going by the wayside,
yes.
At least from what I understand. So
Thank
I follow
God.
a girl on TikTok that does it, and she's been I get all my OnlyFans dirt from her, and she's always talking about how like, you know, it used to be really good money, and then like everybody and their brother who thought they were hot would get on the app and then like try to sell something. I don't know much about OnlyFans. I just know that it's like basically like pay to see some girl get
listen, you could
pseudo-naked.
sell,
I don't know.
you could sell feet pictures.
You could tell I've been like a lifelong goody two shoes because I don't know any of this crap. Like I don't know any about it. We were reading through some of these fetishes that we'll tell you guys about today that we came across.
Listen, I can't.
It's
I
awful.
I can tell you what it is, but I can't say the name to save my life.
We're gonna skip the Latin term for all of these, you guys, because as smart as we both are, it's literally like a fricka flaccophobia, and you're like, sure.
Like,
that's exactly what it is.
We know necrophilia. We know that.
Well, that's like more of a common one.
It's a common one that you hear all the time.
That you hear a lot, but God, I hope it's not a common like actual fetish, because gross. Dead people, ew.
I mean, let's just hope that it sticks to just horror movies.
It can stay in the horror movies. Thank you.
Actually, I did watch a slasher film for the first time in a long time called X.
Was it good at least? I mean, it's not my thing, but listeners might like it.
Funny story. It's a little brief synopsis if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to give a lot away, but it is on Amazon Prime if you would like to rent it.
Awesome.
It is about a group of young people in the porn industry.
Okay.
Who go out to the middle of fucking nowhere to, an Airbnb at the time where you just called somebody and was like, hey, do you have a place? All right. Found you in the Yellow Pages. All right.
Is that where they're going to shoot the next film?
Yes. This was, it was time framed in 1979. So, of course, you looked it up in the Yellow Pages and you're just like, oh, this is a nice, cool place. It's very cheap and I can do this. Old couple.
Already creepy.
Strange fetishes. Yeah, and we all know how the slasher films go. The end.
So, I'm such a goody two shoes. The minute you said fetish, I was like, oh, you know what I could go for? Candy. And I was like, oh God, is that my fetish? Eating candy? Is that why I got fat? Oh my God. There's so many layers to fetishes that I don't understand.
Fetishes and kinks, it is just... It is very creepy. Like there was one that we discussed, and it's kind of, I don't know if it would be considered. I mean, they called it a fetish / kink. Having your hair shampooed.
I think that's more normal than an actual kink or fetish, though, because who doesn't like a good visit to the salon? Where they're they're pampering you and brushing your hair and making you all gorgeous.
For me, it's kind of therapeutic. I love when my hair gets played with. Mm-hmm. And, when I go for a cut and stuff, I just close my eyes and I'm like, My
stylist has those beautiful, nails that are, real long and pretty. And so, mm-hmm. And I bite mine, dear sweet listeners. So
we both do.
We don't have long nails, so when someone with long nails scratches your scalp while they're shampooing, mm-hmm. there's just nothing like that.
I can only get mine to a certain length. I used to have them very, very long. I naturally grew them mm-hmm. to where they were to there. At one point, because I did that in elementary school, one of my friends we had won a game, a game of kickball or something, and she high-fived me. She high-fived me too high, and my thumbnail came off. Like, it went down to here.
Oh, deep. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was deep. It was deep.
That's a deep cut. You cut me to the quick, literally.
Oh, yeah. So I had a very hard time growing out my nails. So since I'm back in the gym, when I walk and stuff, I have like fists. And my nails like get into my...
Oh yeah, they dig into your palms.
Yeah. So I have to cut them short. And of course I cut them short when I was working as a teacher and stuff. So it's been really hard for me to grow them back out again because I don't
and what you're
like
doing
the
now,
sensation.
you'll be on a keyboard so often that
like,
it's just going to chip them if they are longer than a certain length. I can't stand it, honestly. When mine are too long, I have to trim them, even if they're like... Because they're at a pretty good length right now, but it's time to trim because they need to be shorter.
I wonder if there are any fetishes out there that they like nails.
Like eating nails or like...
Oh, I don't know.
Clipping nails. I don't know. I don't want to know the answer to that question.
I don't even, like, they rub their body. There was one, guys.
Oh my god. I know exactly which one you're going to bring up. It's awesome.
There's one where they have an arousal to stone or gravel.
Or cement.
Or cement. So the question is, do they rub their genitalia?
On said cement?
On gravel?
Like, ow.
I have a hard enough time with my damn feet.
On the gravel? Barefoot?
Could you imagine them, like, wanting...
And your feet
like,
have that layer of thickness.
Like, July. In July, the hot cement.
No, thank you.
Like,
I do not want burnt today.
How late do they have to go out and teabag some cement?
I don't know how you could... A lot of these, as we were reading through this list, we were like, how? Why? Ew. I don't...
There are some very bizarre ones. We don't understand
either, but we just thought you guys might enjoy it.
There is one that has an arousal to wood.
Ugh.
There...
Is that the same thing as the gravel one, where, like... And is it, like, a preference for a certain wood? Like, is it like, oh, I like maple? Or, like, I really enjoy oak. Another one that tops it with the top two. The arousal to sun rays. Sun rays. That was so weird. I'm at the beach. I don't understand. Vitamin D, take me now. Oh my god. No thanks.
That is so... Our listeners out there, we love you.
Speaking of vitamin D, I have to get this out there. I was scalded to death by vitamin D sun rays, so I don't like that fetish because I'm angry.
She had a bad experience with that one.
You can't tell on my face, those of you watching, okay? Because I didn't get it really bad there, but my back is bright pink, bright red in some spots. Still, days later, I'm going to tell you guys Tammy's tip of the day, okay? That's what we're going to call it. Tammy's tip of the day. Do not use expired sunscreen. I did that thinking, it'll work. It'll just not work as well, right? It doesn't work at all.
See, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
That's what I thought as well. It's a misconception, I guess. You know?
Fun fact out of our weird fetish list.
There are just, and of course, there's just so many things. Like, there's ones that have fetishes for dolls.
That creeps me out too. So speaking of dolls, those of you watching, I brought home a Wembley doll from my childhood. If you guys like Fraggle Rock, it's creepy. This is what some people like. Those of you watching, it's a stuffed animal that's green with crazy hair and a beach polo shirt. Would you say that is?
Yeah, pop collar and everything.
Bright, big Jim Henson Muppet eyes. Would they like this, or are they thinking more like a China doll? Because this is creepy.
Well,
I love him.
Think about that one movie with Ryan Gosling, where he was like he had a relationship with a sex doll.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Ew.
That one.
That's so weird to me.
That's all I can think about.
Just be normal and get a human partner, please, or just be alone and
well,
happy.
how about those people? How about those people out there who end up marrying themselves or an anime?
Or marry a ghost?
Speaking of,
that lady just divorced her ghost husband recently that married one on the beach. Do you remember?
No!
She divorced him because he wasn't, like, attentive enough to her needs. And I was like, he's not there. The ghost doesn't exist, lady. I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, honey, you just divorced yourself.
You don't like yourself. Cool. I think we gathered that from marrying the ghost in the first place.
I have such a sneaky suspicion we're going to be banned off of Facebook at this point.
Well, we're not describing shit in detail. You guys can go look it up in detail if you want to know. We're just brazing the surface, okay?
The one that I found interesting, of course, as I'm playing with it, there are people out there who have fetishes for long hair.
I mean, that's not that abnormal.
Which is not abnormal at all. And of course, the ghost husband thing, there are people who get riled up
about the ghosts.
Riled up about getting that ghost action.
Zach freaking Bagans has to have that fetish. Because he's always like, are you coming out to fight me, ghost?
I feel you inside my pants. Can you please get out?
He's so over the top. It has to be something creepy like this.
Like, I dated somebody who was like, are you going to grow your hair longer? Like, no.
Which date was this asked on? I have to know. Was it like the first date where he's like...
First date!
Oh, that's weird. You gotta wait till at least like the third or fourth date to start showing you're weird, right? Not day one.
I don't know. Nowadays, listen, Tinder, some of our friends out there... Katie, you know.
You could not pay me enough to be single.
Oh,
again.
Nowadays? No.
I am blissfully married and so happy. I don't care. Husband could do whatever he wants at this point because I don't want to ever be single and have to hear one of these fetishes on a date. No.
It is insane. It is insane. How, and I mean, come on, guys. You know Wanda's been down the rabbit hole.
She's the fun one, Like, we're gonna just leave it there. But
like,
still.
I have been asked if I like being choked.
Oh God, please, again, not on the first date, right? That was like down.
No, that was having a conversation on Tinder.
Before you even met?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've been asked if I would move in with somebody. That was on a different dating website. Because I was making fun. Like, he was like, oh, how, what are you looking for? And I was like, well, I'm trying to look for my forever home. And he's like, well, you can have my home as your forever home. You can move in whenever you like. I'm like, okay, bye, blocked.
That would be a quick block for me, too. I don't blame you on that one. Yikes.
Let's see, choked. I've been asked if I have weird fetishes.
Then you're like, no, I just want to eat, some dessert and leave because this is scary.
I'm like, why are we having this conversation right now? I mean, you're just getting flat out right off the bat. I mean, I've been sent sausage pics right out the gate.
Why is that a thing? Can we ask that question?
Right out the gate.
I don't... Okay,
just
so
right out.
Maybe this is just because I'm a goody two-shoes, or maybe it's because I've been, like, pretty straight-laced and vanilla my whole life. I don't know. I don't understand why you would send such a sensitive photograph of yourself of such a high-profile area.
Yes.
That you don't want everyone... Like, I had someone say to me recently, you should not post anything online that you would not be comfortable saying in front of your mother.
Agreed.
Okay, so why are they sending these dick pics to their mom first and going, would you be attracted to this, Mom? I don't want to know the answer to that.
No, the only time that they would be sending that is, what is this white pimple at the tip of my penis?
Why is it blue? Questions that you can only ask your mother.
Well, honey, it looks like you might have the clap.
Or a doctor. That's when you go to the doctor.
That's when you go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah, I don't know.
How is that going to attract you? Ooh. Oh. Ew.
Well,
no.
It's probably because they have a fetish for mirrors.
Is that a thing too?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It just keeps getting stranger to me, and I just can't wrap my head around it.
Catopatronophilia.
Awesome.
Sure. Where they like to get off around mirrors. And of course, if any of you guys out there have watched American Psycho, that is what he does.
See, at least that movie is named appropriately for said fetish. Because that's,
again,
strange.
Like, I feel like a lot of these fetishes, some of these sound really strange, but I know that I've heard about these because I've watched so many crime shows.
Yes,
like,
we do like
crime documentaries and stuff. Because, like, I just finished watching the tapes on John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, I bet that was creepy.
Like, it wasn't creepy as much as it was, like, I was more fascinated in the fact that he felt like he was the victim.
Interesting.
And he had all of these dead young men in his crawl space. They had a count 33 young men.
That's a big crawl space.
29 was in the crawl space. 3, I think, if I can remember correctly, 3 were pulled from the river because he ran out of space.
Well, yeah.
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 Yeah. But it mind blows me that this person who just took a person's life keeps bringing people to take their life away, but wakes up and just goes on with his day.
Or feels like a victim. How are you the victim if you're murdering 33 people?
Yes. But it's like he had like some of these fetishes, which is insane. And so it's like when you read about serial killers and murderers and stuff, how they have these fetishes. Like, one is that they have an arousal for stealing.
Although, we talked earlier about that one. I think a lot of this, even with serial killers,
that's more of like
it's a brain wiring thing. It's kind of like a high whenever you are able. So, like, we all stole at least one thing when we were teenagers just to see if we could.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a rite of passage. And the high you get that you got away with it. So I can see how that would turn into a fetish, getting that high every time.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, it's kind of like doing drugs. You get that first high, and you're like, holy cow.
Ooh,
I really like that. Well, that's just like people who do asphyxiation.
Yeah.
That sexual asphyxiation, where they get like that first high, but then it's like after you've done it for a while.
And then you have to make it more extreme.
Yes, you have to go more extreme.
It is very much like drugs.
It is.
It's not enough what you started with, and then you have to keep raising the bar to make that journey happen. Is it a brain wiring thing, or is it more to do with like what gives you serotonin? Is that actually what the fetish is? The serotonin?
Oh, that is a good question.
Or is it wiring, or is it actually what you're into? What's the
that is a good question. That really is. Wow.
Because, like, is that why we like shoes?
I feel like it would be a bit of both.
And is that called a shoe fetish at that point? Because some people tease that
people
that's what it is.
People do tease that it's a shoe fetish.
Is it actually a fetish? Or is it just a serotonin high?
And of course, we found, like, the weirdest ones.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
But
we could call the Amber Heard one on here, because we did find that one. Those of you familiar with that case, you know, it came out recently that she took a dump on his bed and then blamed the dogs. I don't know if that was a shaming fetish or if she had the fetish about golden showers and pooping on chests and stuff, which, no, I was pooped on enough when my kid was a baby. I don't want to go anywhere near bodily fluids ever again. No, thank you. I do not understand that one at all. I am so grossed out by that.
You know, I really thought that was like a whole movie thing. And there are people out there who ask if you will take a dump on them. I've been asked if
So glad I married.
I have been asked if I could pee on them.
No thanks. We're good over here. That's what a toilet's for. Thank you so much.
Wait,
was his name John? Because that would make it really funny. If that was the case, someone with the fetish about poop and pee.
No, that was actually Mike.
Mike, it's hump day. Reckoning back to the beginning.
Hey, Mike. Guess what day it is?
Mike.
And there are just some, like, there's some that are, like, they get off by turtles and insects.
And then at that point, do you go, okay, with insects, is it just an etymologist that was never able to go through etymology school that just, like, wants dead butterflies in a glass case on the wall? Like, what? Where does that stop? And in what way?
Yeah. Like, is it just like a, like, do you like to collect them?
Do you want to touch their wings? I don't understand.
Or is this like something that we just need to find somebody? We need to do some research and find somebody who
But
has
will anybody admit to any of these things? That's my other question.
You know,
who compiles the data? Who do these people talk to?
Listen,
and go, you know what? Insects. Ooh, yeah.
Listen, there has to be like tons of people out there who like are very open about this, or else we would not have these articles. That's all I can think of.
We did find the Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly one too, where it's sexual vampires, they call it, or basically they like to suck each other's blood for fun.
The only time I ever heard about that is the ones that were in the occultist.
Yeah,
like in the occult.
That's so weird.
In the occults, come on, guys.
Again, blood, not my thing.
There are two that I find really funny that are very close in spell or pronunciations. One is sexual attraction to tight places.
Claustrophilia instead of claustrophobic.
So they,
which is kind of funny.
So they might like being wrapped up. I bet they like being wrapped up.
Like a saran wrap situation, or
probably.
Are we talking about, okay.
Or putting them in a.
I'm not claustrophobic,
coffin?
But bro, like, I do not like being in a space I cannot immediately get out of. There's no exit for that I feel suffocated by.
Same.
No. Mm-mm.
I'm fine. I'm
the
fine
creepy elevator at work. No.
Yep, not gonna. No. And then the next one, so people have a sexual arousal from seeing someone fall downstairs.
Sorry. I don't know how that could be a real thing, but it's so funny.
Could you? But I love this little caption that this article made. These are the absolute worst people to watch Looney Tunes with.
Poor Bugs Bunny. Poor Bugs Bunny.
Could you think about Wile E. Coyote? I bet they have them on replay.
Oh, I bet they have those sound effects like in the background. Meow.
Yeah, I bet they watch a lot of Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Does that start in childhood? Did something happen to them while they were watching Looney Tunes that created this phobia? Or
I would not be surprised. Because, I mean, when you talk to, like, when you listen to people talk about, like, I loved caressing my mom's hair. That's why creepy things, guys. We all know this. We all have podcasts out there listening to people who have
problems. Hey, I'm telling you, if you can listen to Howard Stern, he's probably covered all of these in detail with someone who actually is one of these people with these fetishes, where he makes them like explain. It's always entertaining for me to listen to those episodes because I genuinely, just like why we both watch crime, like documentaries, I genuinely want to know why their brain makes them feel euphoria. For these things.
It's interesting.
What causes that? Is it the same thing that causes pregnant women to eat dirt? You know that's a thing.
Yeah.
Is there something in the brain chemistry in certain situations that make you go, oh, dirt. That sounds delightful.
I don't know why, but I really want to.
You can also eat, like, there's a thing with sucking on rocks when you're pregnant, too, which was weird. Because you have to, like, They ask you weird questions when you're going to your OBGYN appointments, and I remember that one.
Yeah.
Do you have a fetish for sucking on rocks? No? Ew. Why? Those are dirty. I think I'm a germaphobe. I just heard that out loud, and I was like...
Dirty! Dirty! Everything's dirty!
Dirt! Ah!
That is just... Wow.
And I wonder if certain like things, like if you're OCD, then you are more apt to have one of these, or if you are, you know, schizophrenic.
Well, and like, is there doctors out there who are just like, well, if you have a genetics of, you know, depression or some type of mental illness, clearly you are, because I've heard like if you came from an addicted parent, like parents who are addicted to something, you are most likely to have an addictive personality. But I think that's where nature versus nurture comes into.
Which is it?
Which is
how you're raised,
or what
you're born with,
or yeah.
I don't know.
So it's really weird. Like, and of course, you know, when you do that deep dive, and of course, I've gone those deep dives where looking back at like some of like the serial killers, like, their parents had something that was similar, or it made them think
a smaller trigger, or a different kind of trigger that's like along the same lines as the killer's trigger.
Oh, there's a fetish for an arousal of being tickled. Fuck you all.
Oh, I hate being tickled.
I hate it too.
I will bitch slap somebody if you touch me. I do not react well to being tickled.
Now, I have heard of this one where an arousal to experiencing physical and psychological pain.
See, there's that fine line between pain and pleasure, I think, that like happens that can be extorted.
Yeah.
In a healthy, loving relationship. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Where there are boundaries, as long as there are boundaries. But that one makes sense because like the pain center and the pleasure center are like kind of similar in how they fire in your brain. Yeah. So like that one, at least there's some science behind it where you can go, okay, well, brain chemistry says.
Well, who was it? What killer? I forget which killer. I think it either was like Ted Bundy or... No, it was someone else who wasn't as huge, because clearly I can't remember. But he suffered from meningitis.
Okay.
And
that messes up your brainstem.
Yeah. And they found, like, they did scans on his brain to see what was firing. And, like, the compassion, empathy area of the brain was not firing.
So it was
clearly,
damaged.
The meningitis damaged that area.
And then not having empathy for people makes you a psycho, which kind of explains why.
Which makes you a horrible, like, a very bad sociopath.
I am now seeing exactly what this guy was, a murderer. Hello, there it is.
Yeah, because, like, when you think about it, once you, like, get back into, like, back into what's going on, you're just like, oh my god, this kid suffered from a brain bleed, or, you know, a super high fever that the mom neglected or dad neglected.
I would love to talk to a psychiatrist about some of these things. Like, I want to know, do you medicate? Like, if it's something dangerous where they could hurt themselves, like the wood or the stone thing.
Yeah,
do you medicate? Is that a therapy situation?
Yeah.
How do you...
Like, is this...
Do you let them express themselves at the risk of damaging their own body parts? I don't know.
We need to talk to some psychologists.
What's the treatment? What's the reason? What part of the brain fires that makes these things so...
Listen, guys, we will look this up. We will get somebody on here. I'm sure we know somebody.
Because that... Honestly, like, not just fetishes, but other things. Like, what causes borderline personality disorder? Since that was a thing on one of our shows.
Borderline personality disorder, and of course it's been brought up in the Heard versus Depp case.
Oh yeah, because she has that, but is that really an excuse for being a horrible person? I don't know that you can make that assumption, because that's not really what it's about, like, from what I understand.
Like, I've had a conversation with many people about this. I could never be a defender, like a lawyer that defends, like, the defense. Like, someone who is accused of doing something.
Yeah.
And they explain everything to you. And you're like... Because that's what happened in the John Wayne Gacy case.
Mm-hmm.
His lawyer, he told him everything. And his lawyer was like...
How do you defend it once you know?
He had such a hard time defending it. And of course, he felt like a horrible person. He still defended him. And of course, he was criticized and you know, ashamed for being his lawyer.
Well, and you get that, especially in such a high-profile case like that one, or whoever defended Ted Bundy, because, you know, that had to have been a really difficult case, because he
ended up
he didn't have
being
any filters.
His own damn lawyer.
Like, he would talk to, like, journalists and be like, well, I think that, like, if I was the person, because he would never admit that he killed anybody.
Yeah.
Which is the creepiest shit about Ted Bundy, in my opinion, is you go back and he's like, well, if I was the one that murdered that girl... this is how I would have done it, and this is where I would have shoved her body, and then that's where the body is, and you're like, is it some sort of disorder that he had in his brain that he thought he was Ted, but he was also the killer? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that like I don't know, the disconnect there, maybe it's just I'm not crazy enough to understand what's going on there.
that is something, I think that's what it is, like the foot fetish thing.
Yeah.
Partialism. Maybe.
Oh.
An arousal to a body part other than the reproductive organs.
The example they gave us was calves, which I find really funny for some reason.
I find that as an attraction. Like,
well, muscular calves, you're like, okay, this guy likes to take care of himself.
Yes.
I don't think that that's bad, but like also, like everything else, there's like a safety zone for it, and then there's the extreme, and we don't want to go down the extreme road.
Yeah, and of course, like this area, as much as other areas, there's that gray line. Or
where does it
field?
End? Yeah.
Gray field.
In this situation, there's a field, because like that one, you're like, all right, well, I love people's eyes. I'm an eye person. I really want to see. I like really bizarre color eyes, like. My current husband, it's like a very pale blue. Mm-hmm. Very pale. It's like the clear blue sea kind of blue. And I've never seen that color before. And it's almost gray, which is his favorite color.
Yeah.
So they're so interesting for me to look at. But I wouldn't say it's a body part fetish that matches the partialism that we just discussed. Like,
yeah.
Where does that line end? When does it become partialism instead of just I prefer someone with a bubble butt, or I really like someone with a strong chin?
Yeah,
or,
that's where it's so confusing.
Where does it go into fetish, and where does it stop being a like
an obsession?
Just something that you think about, like, oh, I like that person's hair. When does that become a fetish because you really like their hair, and when does it? You know, it's just so interesting to me because I just can't wrap my head around some of these weird ones. It
is a fascinating subject that we got ourselves into.
I know. And honestly, when we talked about it, all we could do was laugh at most of them. And if you have any of these, please don't be ashamed. Just don't.
Yeah, don't be ashamed.
Talk to your doctor, just not us, about it, because I don't know that I'm not going to laugh, and I don't want to be insensitive, but like, I'm going to be. Just take it to the professional.
And of course, you're going to see our faces, and some of them are...
Oh, mine are real bad this episode, you guys. I'm going to tell you. So if you catch us on YouTube...
But it's like, hey, you do you. It's not something of mine.
Personal preference. I mean, that's what all of this is.
As my mom always told me, I don't care. It does not involve me in the bedroom. So...
Well, I actually tell... so people that... know what I do for a living, and we're not going to say what I do for a living, because that's a well-guarded secret for those of you that don't know me personally. Anyway.
That's right.
What I do is because it's a very secure position, I often joke, do what you want on your own network and on your own cell phone. Just don't do it in my building on my time.
Agreed. Yep.
So... I'm the same way with my friends, people I know. I don't care what you do in the secrecy of your own house, as long as I don't have to see it. I don't have to hear about it. And if you start going somewhere with me that I don't like, I will make a face at you. You will know.
Yep.
You know.
I know.
I just kind of go, and I go, you know what? This conversation makes me uncomfortable. Can we not? just have that boundary with your friends. If you start hearing about something and you're worried, but you just don't know if you can handle it to help them, refer them to somebody. Even if it's help.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that help's hard to get, but like, if you need it and you feel like it's becoming a problem, and it goes from like a fun fetish you have to like something really serious, like, I can't stop buying shoes and I don't have room for them anymore.
I'm sure they
just
have,
a dumb example,
like,
but you know.
You know how they have Sex Anonymous.
Do they have that? Like,
where they
for
have
drug people?
For sex addicts.
Sexaholics?
Yeah, sexaholics.
Interesting.
I'm sure they have, like, a kink Anonymous.
So there's a place that you can go and talk to people just like you.
Yeah.
That understand you, because we don't, but we love you anyway.
Or you can stay on the deep dark web and keep doing what you're doing.
Just make sure you're using a Torrid browser, because, you know, you don't want to get viruses.
Yes.
Another one of Tammy's tips of the day. I had 2 in one episode. That never happens. I should get like a thing, a rainbow. The more you know. You can tell how old we are based on the more you know is the reference for a rainbow.
Oh, yeah. That's us in a nutshell, guys.
So if there's something that you would like us to talk about that you think would be funny, since we're very funny.
As you can tell.
You let us know. We would love to talk about whatever you want to know about. I don't know what we have planned, because we are trying to plan for our 50th episode.
Woohoo, guys! So many fun things are coming up.
A little over a month away, so we're trying to plan for you guys.
And really, we're coming up to our 1 year.
I know, it's so creepy.
It is. Like,
it's so
next,
creepy.
It's like a couple weeks away, actually.
Yeah, it's, we started this as something fun.
Yeah.
In Tammy's basement. We were like, let's just go talk for half an hour. It couldn't be that bad, right? And then you guys gave us a shot, and now we come down and have fun every week.
You still give us a shot, and that is fantastic.
And we love you for it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
And I mean, even if you don't listen to us all the way through, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're still going to do it.
We're even going to try to get better for you guys and do video and sound clips of our funniest bits, because we want you to join us in the fun.
Because we are rock'em, sock'em robots.
And we are hoping to have some guests in the next few episodes. We're trying to hook that up.
Yep, we're
you can meet some of our friends.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll even bring Stanley back if he's willing to come back and
hang with
us.
Yes. Hopefully after Stanley is done with his trip.
Yes. We will bring him back. We need to get some Blanche and some Myrtle.
We do. We need you guys.
We're making some plans with them for next week, so maybe we'll do like a Facebook Live with Blanche and Myrtle on our page so that you guys can see them.
And we'll introduce you to somebody else too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's a secret guest. We won't talk about he or she, them, whatever. Quite yet. So
whatever the preference.
I'm going to tell you, the kid's been begging to see you guys again and talk to you all again.
Yes, he's been eager about getting back on, so we might have the kid back on.
We might have him talk about Doctor Who.
Oh.
We've been watching that, and he's been real into it. So maybe we can have...
And of course, we do want to do an episode of Doctor Who, but I just need to take the time to watch some Doctor Who.
Yeah. We're going to make her a Whovian yet. I'm guaranteed. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So take a chance on your weird friend. Be there for him is the whole thing, because I am the weird friend. I like all the nerd culture, Whovian stuff. And there will be a special feature this weekend live from Fan Expo Cleveland with Tammy and the kid.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be doing some touring and see if we can walk by some celebrities for y'all. And that's kind of our nerd thing. So next year we're going to make Wanda come with us. Yeah. It'll be good stuff.
It'll be great.
So we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Stay cool, guys.